Hi, kids. Welcome to the Late Night Picture Show. A week late. I wasn't into it last week. Too many things. So on we go. I'm Murph, your humble host. And tonight, it's Bluebeard. Yeah, I'd never heard of it either until it showed up on Sci-Fi Friday a few years back. Terror strikes. This isn't a terribly long one. Bluebeard is a 1944 Producers Releasing Corporation picture. Directed by Edgar G. Ulmer, who I've heard of, but I don't know what else he directed. Starring John Carradine, who I'm sure you've all heard of, and Gene Parker. I actually wrote here, "From the Ghost That Goes West," as if you've seen that. Exactly. Okay. So a mad killer is prowling the streets of Paris, strangling young women and dumping their bodies in the river. The authorities put up posters warning that there's a killer on the loose. But what do young Parisians care about a killer? They don't care. There's gay times to be had. All over Paris. Or Paris, if you prefer. One young lady, Lucille, like the Little Richard song, played by Parker, becomes intrigued with a puppeteer named Gaston Morel, played by Carradine. Yes, a beautiful young lady becomes enamored with a puppeteer. Maybe in Paris. So here's your red flag, in case you missed it. Oddball puppeteer. Hello? Hello? Well, there's no mystery to be had here. Morel, who is also an artist, is Bluebeard. They don't hide that at all. And this despite the fact that he's clean shaven. So I have no idea where the name comes from. When his wife gets all jealous and protests Lucille singing in his puppet play, well, Morel gives his wife a bow tie. Like that. Well, with her out of the picture, Morel can focus on his masterpiece, And that is a painting. Yes, it turns out this puppeteer is also a painter. But it's Paris, so that's not so hard to imagine. A portrait of Lucille, which it turns out starts to look just like portraits of other young ladies who have disappeared. Coincidence? Well, unfortunately for old Gaston, Lucille is vaguely dissatisfied, is the term I would use. Yeah, she nags him about the pose, about the background, about the lighting. Like this lighting. She'd hate it. Look what it does to my face. Well, you get the idea. Well, pretty soon, she nags Gaston to the point where, bow tie. That's pretty much it, I think. So, this movie was billed as a thriller. You saw the poster over there. Terror strikes. There wasn't any terror. Ugh. By the time he gets around to strangling Lucille, I was so bored that I'd pretty much given up. But I would imagine since it's 1944, I'm sure the coppers got him, and that, what did I say here? They ended his artistic reign of terror. You're not so lucky. They haven't caught me. Anyway, making it safe for the denizens of Paris to frolic in the streets and make out in dark alleys once again. I gave this one 1. It's a one-ring circus here on the Late Night Picture Show. Bluebeard, 1944. Starring John Carradine. Hey, monkey. Do you think you can pick a color picture out of the bucket? I might just go until I get one. I don't want to run too many black and white ones back to back. Although probably most of the movies I've reviewed are black and white. We want to keep mixing it up a little bit. The bucket and the show. Let's see what we come up with. I shouldn't be so hasty. Because that one's black and white. And that one. And that one. Here we go. Let's step back into the 1970s. Yeah, when I was a kid. We'll get to those. Don't worry. Don't panic. Long before, well, not that long, 3 or 4, maybe 6 years before George Lucas made his epic Star Wars and the Muppet movies that followed, he made this masterpiece, THX 1138. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll probably hate it. But I hate Star Wars, so we're even. THX 1138 next week on the Late Night Picture Show. This is Murph with Durf. And yeah, you can probably skip Bluebeard. Go out and rent. You'll probably have to buy it. Go out and buy a THX 1138 and join me next week. See if you liked it as much as I did. Until then, good night, kids.